Hey everybody, welcome back. I am your host, Joe JDF Foster, and today I will be talking about a game I recently got into of Magic the Gathering, the Commander format. The thing is, with this, mm, I've only recently got into it, so I don't really know a lot about it. But my cousin tried to teach me the original Magic styling when I was younger. And I couldn't follow because one, I was a kid who preferred video games over card games, so I stuck with what I knew. But now I've gotten to try both, and I'm starting to understand how they're a lot alike because, like the video games I like to play, which is sports and wrestling, those type of games. Sports wise, it's football, basketball, soccer, all almost any sport really. But the idea is you figure out what your team's made of and what you need, stuff like that. Also, as a fan of card games like Yu-Gi-Oh, where you had stuff where the idea is to outsmart your opponent with like traps and spells, or in Magic's case, the instants, the sorceries, the enchantments. But anyways, I've only recently gotten into it in like the last couple of months at most, and I enjoyed it because trying to figure out how my decks play works and trying to figure out what I'm playing against just as much. From what I've seen, the opponents can vary from ones that overpower, and each type of opponent will have their own weakness and based on how they do things. From what I've seen, the ones that try to oppress or overpower you instantly tend to forget that one card will wipe them out completely and ruin their deck. So they have to come up with multiple plans for that. The ones that are balanced, as good as the idea is to have a balanced deck, it's not always a perfect idea because the balanced tends to leave out in areas still. And it means that you're open in all areas, even though you're trying to cover those areas. The ones that rely heavily on spells, such as enchantments, instants, or artifacts, you get something that blocks any one of those become null and void. Again, it's like oppression. You lose. You get one where you get like what's known, what I've seen, the elves and the goblin decks, where they build up by building the creatures to try and overrun you. Same theory. Though with them, it's a multiple of one type that you can say, oh, I'm going to block that specific type of creature. That person's pretty much out of the game. You block a land, person's got a new issue. But anyways, I'm going to move on to the next part of this. Like I said, my cousin tried to teach me this when I was younger. I actually there's actually a part of me that wishes I'd actually paid attention back then because it would have made a lot more sense when I started getting into it now, and I would have been able to do it a lot easier. And the thing is, when I first started trying to play it now, I realized that it felt familiar. I just couldn't figure out why. And then after certain cards got played, I realized, oh, I'd seen something like these cards before in the past, and realized it was his deck is what had it. I actually wonder if he still has them. It might actually be an interesting thing to play him one day with those decks. But anyways, in anything, um, with the Commander format, it's 100 cards, one one or two commanders, depending if the commander has partner, which allows it to have a secondary person with it that acts separately, but they act together as your team leader. And within this commander styling, you can only have one of each card that's not what's known as a basic land, which is mountain, plains, island, the red, which is mountain, the white, which is the plains, the blue, which is an island, green, which is forest, and white, which is snow. I probably missed one, not on purpose, but it's a good chance I did just now. And that idea works a lot like Yu-Gi-Oh does, where you try to take the life points of a person down to zero while trying to keep yours at a positive number. But there's a lot of but there are rules within rules in this one that are actually very interesting. Like there's a card that'll make it where you can choose to attack a person with a card, and with that card, and it's got an ability that allows you to deal damage to when you attack a person. So you could basically select that same person and attack them twice, and they would take twice the damage because they're taking the damage from the attack itself, and then they take the damage from the ability, which says that you pick them to take damage as well. And then there's other ones that prevent it, a lot of different things. Now, what I'm about to do isn't me promoting stuff necessarily because I don't have the advertisers' ability from these companies and places, and sites, but I am going to say TCG Player is a great place to get cards because a lot of the stuff that's hard to find is very easy to get there, and it's nicely priced. And almost everywhere I called store wise will tell you that's where they get their actual pricing from is TCG's market value on it. So you go on there, you find out what they're charging, and it'll tell me, and you'll find out how much you're going to have to pay for it. Or you can go to Mana Stacks, build you a deck. It'll tell you what the cost is there in 3 different versions. And then there's moxfile.com. You go to. You can build your deck there and tell it to update to the cheapest version. And it will take you for each card you've got and take it to the cheapest version of that card and give you a price at the bottom and then link you where you can buy the deck from TCG or TCG's rival, which I think is Card Kingdom on on Mox File. But either way, both are good places to look at for price comparisons and stuff. I mean, price comparisons and telling you what you need to know price wise on the cards. As for the deck sleeves, I bought through TCG, and but the sleeves themselves are actually Ultra Pro, which used to be known for baseball and sports trading cards protection covers, and that's what they're actually using for some of them. But then they got like soft sleeves and other sleeves, which are actually designed nicely to fit to the card stylings for the games that you're playing. For that, I do not recommend TCG, but going directly to um, ultrapro.com, the official website of it, because right now you can find a lot of stuff on clearance, and some of them actually have more sleeves included at a cheaper price, or the actual same sleeves that TCG is selling, I mean, that the other sites are selling at a cheaper price. I guess it's because it's through the actual company itself. But again, if you're looking for card sleeves, deck boxes, ultrapro.com. Or I know on one YouTube channel I was watching, they recommend Dragon Shield. I don't know how good that is. If you do, send me a message down below in the comments letting me know. But the stuff I've gotten through TCG, and the card sleeves were all from Ultra Pro's company, which are actually really good, really durable. And I know I haven't made a video in a while, so I'm trying to get back into the hang of it. So I'm going to call the video at this point, and I will see you all when I see you.